All right, boys. This is week number 2 um, of pretty much tracking my trading journey online. So this week was pretty interesting. Just not even on the trading side of things, but also with actually my prop firm. Um, I was using a prop firm called Funding Traders, and I looked. I don't even know what sparked my interest. I always heard good reviews about them before, but I started to kind of look in more, and they just kept getting worse and worse and worse reviews. And when I got with them, it was like 4.5 stars out of 5 on Trustpilot. Now it's like 3.8 out of 5, and everyone is just nonstop complaining about how they don't give out payouts, this and that. So it's like, okay, I wonder, like, because no matter what prop firm, everyone's gonna have a bad review because they blew an account and broke the rules, and they're gonna say, "Oh, I didn't break any rules. They failed to pay me, whatever." But it was getting to the point where there was like so much of that, and um, yeah, I typed in, I was curious. I was like, okay, what is like their biggest payout that they paid someone? And it was only 6 grand. And I was very worried. I was like, oh, because, I had that account with them, and I was like, I had a couple of accounts with them. And I think it totaled to like 500K in funding. And I was like, okay, well, obviously I can make 2% off, let's just say 500K, and it's more than that, like more than a 6K payout. And that was their largest payout ever recorded. So it really got me thinking. I was like, I really should not stay with them, because if I'm gonna, put in all this work and I'm gonna pass an account and they just don't pay me, it's not gonna be good at all. And that's gonna be very hard to deal with psychologically. So I decided, those accounts were bought, but I decided just pretty much, I would just consider it tuition to the market, and I decided just to go with a different prop firm. Decided to go with the most trusted one, the most, it could be the most expensive. I think it is the most expensive, but it's definitely worth it. I just went with FTMO because obviously they've been around for 10 years. They're the most trusted, rated 4.9 stars out of 5. Um, yeah, and it just kind of buys you peace of mind knowing, like, okay, if I actually pass this count, I follow my rules, I'm actually getting paid. Like, I'm not gonna have to go through, um, some prop firm saying that I broke a rule or I did something wrong or whatever. So figured, yeah, it'll just buy peace of mind. So I decided to go with them. I bought that account at the middle of the week. I actually switched prop firms middle of the week, and then I used to trade on Trade Locker. Now I'm gonna have to trade on MT5. So then I ordered Magic Keys. I'm waiting on the physical device to come in so I can set up the online software as well. That didn't come in yet, so it's gonna be pretty hard to place trades. I'm gonna have to be manually entering the lot size and stuff. But yeah, it shouldn't take too long. But yeah, as for going over this like trading week, honestly, pretty good week. I think I took one trade and I took it half risk. It was a loss, standard loss, and that was literally it. And that goes to show like how crazy it is. Like some weeks, like again, like literally the week before, we made 9% in a week, and this week there's not been a single valid trade. I'll go over one. There was a half decent one Monday morning, but it wasn't in my time zone, and the one I took. But even the one I took, I knew it wasn't A plus. When you take 30-minute setups, I'm willing to take B plus setups and A minus setups. The risk rewards, if the risk reward is there. But yeah, there was usually during the week, you get some at least like 1 or 2 A plus setups. But yeah, that goes to show like you have to stay disciplined, like 100%. Discipline is like everything, and patience is everything. Because I saw people in my Discord this week, like literally, like one guy passed phase 1 last week. Yeah, last week off that 1 to 10 I showed you guys, and he was on phase 2 this week, and he just couldn't handle having a slow week because he was so used to the week before that he literally blew like phase 2 like this week because he was just taking non-stop trades all week long. And he wasn't the only one. There was so many people taking low quality setups because they can't handle waiting for a good setup to pretty much come into the market. The market doesn't care if we're waiting for a good setup. Our job is we know statistically that they're going to come around. We just have to wait and stay patient and just react to what the market is showing us. And this week, market did not show us anything good at all. We actually would have been NFP again on Friday, but the government's still shut down. So that was on Forex Factory all week until Friday, and then it just disappeared. So Friday there was like a valid setup. I just kind of skipped out on, just because of there was supposed to be NFP and then they took it off, and then you're gonna have banks and investors that's still kind of weary on that side. It's just gonna be a risky day. There's supposed to be a bunch of this news, now there isn't because the government shut down. No one really knows what's going on. It's a Friday. There's still other red folder news. So I didn't even trade Friday. And I stayed out another, I think it was 1 or 2 losses on Friday as well. So I'm just gonna pretty much pull up the chart. There's so many just setups that literally lost that were not good setups. But yeah, I think as far as an overview of the week, that should be just about it. Like I said, I took one trade, I believe, on Tuesday, and that was it. Literally, I just sat on my hands all week, didn't take a single trade, preserved capital. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, because I did end up switching prop firms. So actually, that trade I took half risk on was on my old account anyway. So it doesn't even carry over to this new prop firm. But it's still my trading statistics. It's still a trade I took, so obviously it's still counted. But as of right now, it's a fresh 200K on FTMO. Paid $1,300 for it, which is crazy. But I did read a thing. I guess they give you back. I think they give you back your money if you pass or whatever. Which, I'm not gonna blow it or anything like that. I just have to. I'm kind of getting used to their new rules and stuff. But yeah, we should be pretty good. So with that being said, I'll pull up my chart and we'll go over the trades we took for this week here. All right, guys. So here we are. As you can see, we have 6 trades again. I think actually we had 6 last week as well. I took one trade. This was AUD JPY in the 30-minute on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday. And that was my only loss. And yeah, Monday's a pretty interesting trade as well that I want to go over. But I'll show you guys here. I think I've gold pulled up here. So I kept everything on the chart so I could just quickly go back. Okay, so this trade is something specific to my rules that I'll go over. And if you watched, I think I actually said in every other video I had, this was a rule I implemented to my own trading strategy. So something with gold is you can see right here, if you look, we're continuously putting in the lower highs. Something with gold and indices like gold and NAS 100, they tend to just be overall bullish. So even trades like this, we usually still will be taking buys just because they are overall bullish. There's been many times that on gold or NAS, if you zoom out, you're like, okay, it's bearish, but it's just constantly reacting off demands. That's the main thing. It's reacting off demands. We're not targeting bullish structure. We're just targeting demand zones that are getting reactions off of them. This is exactly what happened on gold here. So I'll show you guys. You have a liquidity zone here, and then you also have a liquidity zone here. Both are very good. You have one right here. This is a very good one as well. Price came down, made your liquidity, swept the highs, and it came down fairly clean. We just have this retracement here, and then straight to the zone. So very good. And price reacted with a nice bullish close. So this is why I didn't take this trade. So standard close. First of all, this was not my time zone. So yeah, or not time zone. My trading time. So this was at 4:45 in the morning. I start at 5:30. So this would be standard 1 to 2. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. Okay, so this is why I didn't take this trade. So I have a specific rule that when I wake up and say there was a trade that just happened, maybe a little bit before I woke up, it differs, or it's different on the 30-minute and the 5-minute, but especially for the 5-minute, if I wake up and it's just consolidating pretty much for like literally what you saw here. I woke up and this is literally what I saw. And I was like, okay, well, if I was entering here off of, seeing the structure here, seeing the nice bullish close, then obviously it's valid to take it. But seeing this just lowers the win rate a lot more, and I'm just a lot less inclined to take this trade because I'm gonna be like, okay, well, we failed to really even push up. Now we're just consolidating. And yeah, we're filling orders to either go to the upside or go to the downside. Now it's like 50-50. Do I really want to get in? You know what I mean? Is that really worth the risk? For me, no, because it's just a simple rule I implemented, and it does kind of, at least for as many trades that I back tested, it does kind of help out a lot because it's a lot easier on in your head to deal with as well. Because if you wake up late and you see a trade and you're like, oh, I'll enter, and then it just loses, you're like, okay, well, clearly that trade didn't have a nice reaction. It was consolidating for a while. Why would I even enter in the first place? You know what I mean? If I wasn't there for the initial entry, why would I get in when it looks a lot worse? So, yeah, that's kind of why I stayed out of this one. And yeah, this one did end up hitting for a 1-2, actually, and did end up taking these highs and then went down and took out these lows. It was just doing a bunch of random stuff. So yeah, that would have been a standard win right there. But for me personally, when it's down here consolidating like that, it's even actually a rule kind of we have within our whole community is just stay out. But if you are trading early London session, then that's definitely a valid trade to take. And yeah, there's no point to close right here either because you took the trade when it gave the valid entry. So yeah, that was really that was the only winner for the week actually. 5-minute on gold at 4:45 in the morning. But yeah, that was that trade. What do we have here? GN on 30-minute. So actually, I'm gonna pull up a video for you guys. I took there was a trade that was going on GN, and then there was a trade that was going on AJ at the same time. Yeah, AUDJPY at the same time. And I didn't like this trade because of the volume tool. So I'll show you guys. Where is it at? Okay, so you want the POC to be up towards your take profit, and the POC was kind of below your entry signal, or at least you could say at your entry signal. You would have got in on this candle close here, like this. And for me, the shortest we take is 1-3. So with that big of a candle close, that big of a stop loss, 1-3 would have been a whole way up here, which is like you're targeting a massive structure, and the POC does not line up, which I don't like at all. And personally, looking at it, which it did end up sweeping highs out later on, we were still in bearish market structure. We have not taken out any major highs to the left here. We were quite literally filling in this open space here to the left, and while this was internally bullish, we were still overall bearish. So we didn't really have much of a reason to take longs here because we weren't in bullish market structure, at least yet. So that's the reason I stayed out of this. The stop loss was massive. You're targeting a 1-3, which is massive on structure here. Normally when we're entering trades, it's a lot better of a close. That's at least like a 1-5, 1-6. It's only a 1-3 at that big of a market structure. You're looking for that big of a move for only 1-3. Kind of risky. The volume tool does not line up. And third of all, I would have liked to see us take out this high here to the left. So we didn't see any of that. So for me, it was an easy one to stay out of. I think in the video, I talked about us going like this and continuing down because we were overall bearish here. But we didn't end up doing that. We ended up just kind of consolidating here for a while, building up orders, and then we exploded to the upside. which, yeah, even with us consolidating and building up orders to continue up, we just ended up stopping us out. So that was a good one to stay out of. And then I'll show you guys, I'll pull up that video at the end here after I show you guys and explain these trades. This is the only one I took for the week. So the only thing I wouldn't even technically say is wrong with this trade. It's just one I wouldn't. Sometimes we take these and normally it's more towards UK 100, so probably I shouldn't have taken this on a forex pair, but it is a valid trade. There's no rules broken or anything like that. So this was just a standard long position. We were taking out highs here to the left. We were obviously just trending overall very bullish, and we have a nice level of liquidity here. Liquidity distance is within range of the zone. Price came down. Consolidated a little bit up here, which I don't like, but we did end up falling pretty cleanly. We took out lows to the left there. We had a nice reaction, and fortunately I didn't get in until a little bit later because actually I didn't see this trade. This happened pretty much, yeah, right kind of when I woke up, but I didn't even see this trade. And I was looking and I was like, well, and I was looking for a reason not to take this trade. And I was like looking over and over again. I was like, I really can't find a reason not to take this trade. Because something I asked myself is, okay, if I took this trade and it loses, would I be mad at myself? And if the answer is yes, then obviously I'm doing something wrong, or there's something wrong within the trade. And there was nothing wrong with this at all, besides the large structure. The structure is probably just a little bit too big. If it was something like, you know, trading or trending like this, we had our demand zone down here, that would be something different. But in all fairness, it was kind of just trending like this, and it consolidated a bunch, and then we finally came down, and it's just, the structure is just a little bit too big. But to take half risk, and the risk reward at the top was a 1 to 5, and not to mention, where's it at? The volume tool did line up. Oh, drew that wrong. Hold on. Volume tool did line up very good for this trade as well. I'll show you guys. Extend it. There we go. Okay, so yeah, the POC was up towards our take profit, and this was kind of genuinely what you want to see. This is a very good volume tool right here. And then what you want to watch for is low volume nodes, which your low volume node is between this line and this line, and it's the lowest volume node within those two lines, which is right here. So yeah, volume tool lined up. Trend was, the trade was in within trend, and everything else lined up. The only thing you could maybe say is, okay, structure's probably a little bit too big. And one thing I might have said in the video, I'm not too sure if I said in the video, but I did feel as if price needed to retrace a bit deeper before continuing up, because these are big swings here, and yeah, I could see us just retracing a little bit deeper. But yeah, that's kind of my reflection on this trade. Could have been avoided, probably, just because of the large structure. But again, taking it with half risk, so it is what it is. But yeah, that's that trade. I'll pull up the video right now, actually. All right, boys, this is 7 in the morning right now. I got up an hour and a half ago at 5:30. And there was a few positions that we skipped out on. I didn't like them. One position is GN right here. So here's your level of liquidity. Price came down, swept it, good reaction. Everything looks good. Only reason I didn't like this trade is because the volume profile does not line up. If you draw it from any of these swing lows, you extend it over to your entry point here. POC is under your entry point, which is just, it's not good. Price is likely to be attracted to that level because there's high volume there. So I don't really like it. It's also reacting directly off of a 4-hour supply right here to the left. And as good as this looks, like it's bullish and all that, there's just more reasons to stay out of it than to take it. If we start taking out these highs to the left, then of course, like, I'd for sure be all on board for bullish. But as of right now, your major highs still here to the left have yet to be taken out to show like the trend's actually bullish. And a lot of times with prices kind of doing this,
9 chances out of 10, just from my experience, it'll just end up dropping and continuing down like to its original trend. I did take AJ though. The reason I like this trade is because it's quite a large structure, but large structure trades do tend to win, definitely. We have a nice level of liquidity here. Price up the level of liquidity, came up. Started consolidating a little bit up here, but we did have mostly straight line drop down. When you pull out the volume tool, you can even draw it from the swing low to the swing high. And then right now it doesn't look good, but what you do is you have to extend it over to your entry point, and then the POC is at the high of your up towards your take profit, which price is most likely going to be attracted to that level. So yeah, that's why I just stayed out of those other trades, but I rather take this trade just because it has more going with it rather than against it. But again, if this lose, doesn't matter at all. Everything's lines up. Our rules are followed. Our original entry would be right here, but that was at 5 in the morning. I don't start my session until 5:30, so it was a bit late. So I just got in right there at that level. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out, and win or loss doesn't matter. Everything with our rules are followed. So yeah, all right. I'll probably include this in the weekly recap. So we'll see what happens. So, all right, now that you saw that, that was our last trade we took for the week. Okay, so we went over those two. So now we have GC on the 5 minute. Okay, bear with me here. This was on Wednesday. Oh. GC. Have the time, 8:15. Okay, so right here. Okay, so right here was this trade. So you have your demand zone right here, liquidity right here, and 8:15. Yeah, yep, this was this trade. Okay, so this was again a really easy one to avoid. So if we don't take higher time frame trend into too much consideration on the 5 minute, but this one is kind of an easy one just because it's just barreling down. It's taking out lows here to the left. Right now we're kind of reacting off of this candle right here, which is the only bullish candle within pretty much this move here. So it's kind of acting as a supply zone. Price is kind of rejecting it pretty heavily. We did sweep out highs here, and then for me, I don't like this trade because first of all, spread with GC is horrible. Second of all, we failed to really close above, which isn't too big of a deal, but it's something just to kind of take into consideration that it can make the trade a little bit lower of a grade. We wicked above the high, but we didn't close. So we wicked above it, came down. Is an okay demand zone, not really. It's part of a straight line. It's not really good at all. You want to see something like this where like our demand zone caused a big bullish move, not just a random bearish candle within a bullish move. And then I can't remember if the volume tool did line up for this trade or not. Let me check. Okay, yeah, so the POC, it technically did. It was towards take profit, but realistically, the high wasn't really far off of your entry point anyway, so the POC can't really be that high. And then obviously the last thing is the stop loss was just absolutely massive. It was right there. So to even take a 1 to 2, you would have been aiming above these highs here. The spreads are bad too, so realistically, you probably wouldn't have gotten filled to like right here. It just was an easy one to avoid. I mean, you're risking 1% to make maybe 1.5% or 2% off of with all of those things taken into consideration. That just was not for the trade at all. All those confluences that I just showed you guys. This demand zone's kind of shit within this big bullish move. Failed to really close above those highs. Price came down cleanly.
massive bullish candle, which like, okay, is good. But yeah, we were also just kind of clearly struggling to kind of, like you can see right here, we had big bullish moves, and then we had big bullish moves, and then we just kind of started felling to take out lows. And then yeah, with that big bullish move, or with that big candle close there, it just really wasn't worth entering. You can just kind of tell the steam was starting to wear off, and then that's where we kind of consolidated. And then we ended up moving up to the upside. But if you're kind of changing trends like that, usually you'll see the long consolidation because it's trying to fuel in orders before we move up. You just saw that same thing actually happen on GN as well, where it just consolidated before it ended up moving up. And within that consolidation, it'll just move up, down, so it could easily tag out your stop loss. So that one would have instantly lost. There's a lot of people that took that trade. I, of course, didn't. And yeah, it saved me another % of my capital. So then that was on Wednesday. There was another trade. Oh yeah, another trade on the same pair on Wednesday, 10 a.m. So, okay, I'll show you guys this one. I believe this was actually with the same. Yeah, this really was with the same. I mean, personally, any trade with this big of a stop loss, I'm just not taking. That was honestly the main reason. To target, did this actually win? It did win. I didn't even know that. 1 to 2. Yeah, so that would have been the 5-minute trade. It's just, it's not ideal at all. Yeah, you would have held it, yeah, literally till the next day. Stop loss is just absolutely massive. Again, like I said, we're still taking out lows here to the left. We're reacting off of supply right here. Just not bullish market structure, not something I'd ever look to take. So yeah, actually I didn't even know that one won. I didn't know I had 2 on GC. Yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, so that's I guess another trade there. Yeah, it's just not one worth really taking. The stop loss absolutely massive. In bearish market structure, not much bullish confirmation to be honest with you. And yeah, it did end up hitting TP. If you would have held through the rest of the day. So there's that trade. And then GJ on the 5-minute Friday. Okay, so as you guys can see, there's not, like I showed you guys the GN trade on, wait, when was this? Friday. Give me 1 second here. 5:20 a.m. Okay, all right, I got it. Okay, but yeah, you guys can see like last week when I showed you guys the GN trade, there was all those confluences going with like, hey, this is a good position to take or a good trade to take a short position on. And with this, with this week, every single trade, there's just something that's just like, it's mid, like, it could win. Technically, anything can happen. More confluences saying not to take the trade than it is saying to take the trade. And that was like that for every single trade this week. So yeah, it was very, very good test on pretty much just patience and waiting for good setups. Because they will come around. We can go next week as well, and maybe we won't get a single good position to take. And I won't take a single good position. That's just sometimes how it is. So with this trade, this would demand, okay, yes. So my mentor actually took this trade as well. So this happened pretty much right like as I was waking up. So this trade was, again, going over the whole Friday thing with the NFP. Marcus always just moves weird, especially last Friday when there's supposed to be NFP and then the government shut down. They just erased the NFP off Forex Factory. First of all, technically, internally here, we started taking out highs to the left, taking out highs here, taking out highs here. Price came down. Was coming down fairly clean, and then we started making this bearish structure. Liquidity was just not strong at all. Kind of shocked my mentor took this trade, to be honest with you, but where's my drawing tool at? Yeah, liquidity, if we would have had something like
this, and then we would have came out and actually like came down cleanly, then that'd be totally different. But with liquidity not being strong really at all, it's just some sideways movement and price making bearish structure down, not the best. You could say, okay, recently this has been bullish, but if you also zoom out, would you really want to trade within that?
Like if you look at that, would you want to trade targeting market structure or trying to trade with the trend within that type of market structure? Obviously not. So I stayed out of this position. I had multiple candles to get in, and this is what I'm talking about. Like, this is where the rule comes in, where what is the borderline where I can enter late and enter on time. So like what I would have got to the charts 10 minutes later, okay, cool. These two candles, you're still fine to enter on. It's when you get your entry candle and then it's just kind of consolidating, and I come back or get on maybe a whole 30, 40 minutes later on the 5 minute and it's just consolidating, then it's obviously not worth to take. But if it's just a candle or two, maybe even 3 candles, then yeah. But yeah, I saw this and I was like, no, I don't like it. Your stop loss for all these trades this week would have been absolutely massive. And sometimes that's okay to take if everything lines up, but adding all the other confluences in plus the massive stop loss when you're targeting 1, 2, way up there, it's just an easy one to avoid in my opinion. I kind of saw this as right here, we've been making nice bearish market structure, just swept these lows, probably going to get a retracement here and then continue down. And that's exactly what happened. But again, all these GBP pairs did seem to end up going bullish towards the end of the week because they all kind of consolidated in here. And I think that's actually, I'm just kind of realizing this now, that's probably why we had a lot of bad market structure and a lot of bad trades to take. Like for example, even that GC trade that ended up winning, it's a bad trade to take. And just because trades win doesn't mean it's a good trade to take at all. Like I said, in October, we had literally horrible trades winning. And some of those people were like, oh yeah, like I'm doing the right thing. So then when market structure starts, or when market conditions start getting back to normal and they start placing all these trades in these bad trades, or they just start taking positions on just low quality setups, and they're going to wonder why they start losing. Well, it's because they weren't, they're only going to win for a certain amount of time. Market does go through phases where, hey, those bad setups might actually start winning for a little bit, and it's going to go through setups where it's going to go through conditions like the majority of the year and the decades that the bad setups are just going to lose because they're bad setups. And yeah, when you start practicing to taking good setups and then market kind of goes back to normal, then you're really going to get like slapped in the face because you're really going to start losing a lot of positions. So yeah, this was a trade I stayed out of again. A lot of consolidation here. Like I just said, GBP seem to be just consolidating pretty much, yeah, since like Wednesday till pretty much that Friday it broke out. But we were just consolidating. Like you would just never really want to trade in this at all. But yeah, that was the last trade of the week. Yeah, that was it. So yeah, we took one trade for the week, half risk. So what is it, first week of November, down 0.5%, which is just absolutely nothing. And yeah, this week could have been very, very bad if you're not good at discipline and patience. It easily could have been negative 3, 4, 5, 6% week. Could have easily lost that much. If you're just taking all these low quality positions, easily 100%. But yeah, it's all about pretty much like sitting on your hands and opening up the market, realizing this might just be a slow week. There's not much positions, and yeah, just go on with your day, because there's literally new people in this Discord that they just like, they will sit on these charts for hours and just nonstop set position, like send positions and be like, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? What do you think of this? And they're just losing all day long because they need to sit there and just take trades, and that's not what this game is about. It's literally about patience, and patience will pay you in the long run. So yeah, I hope you guys learned something. Like I said, if anyone's even watching this, which I doubt it, I kind of figured maybe 20 to 25 videos might start slowly getting views. But yeah, like I said, I'm just kind of doing this for myself. But yeah, if anything to learn from this week's, definitely just discipline and patience will pay off, because now I'm sitting at the end of the week, really not even down anything, and people literally lost like passing phases of their, or like phase 2 of their funded accounts, just from they just can't handle slow weeks. So yeah, that's pretty much the main thing to take away from this week. And that should be a wrap for this week. I'll probably put out another video midway during the week. I kind of have a list of some simple videos I kind of want to make on some certain topics. But yeah, that should be about good, and I will see you guys in week 3. Peace.